Hello and welcome. So, is your warehouse packed to the rafters? Are you struggling to use every single inch of that vertical space? Well, if that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving deep into a complete guide for buying a cherry picker forklift. We're going to break down everything you need to know to find that perfect machine, the one that's going to totally transform your operations efficiency. So here's our game plan. We've got 5 key parts. First, we'll cover the basics. What even is a cherry picker? Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty features and specs. After that, we tackle that big question. Should you buy new or used? Then we'll get really practical and help you find the perfect match for your warehouse. And finally, we'll talk about the super important stuff, safety and maintenance, to make sure you protect your investment. So let's jump right in. All right, first things first. Before we get lost in lifting heights and turning radiuses, let's just make sure we're all on the same page about what a cherry picker actually is and what makes it such a special piece of equipment. I mean, this is the core question, right? Every single warehouse manager wants to squeeze more out of their space and speed up how they get orders out the door. The biggest challenge is almost always vertical. How do you get to all that stuff way up high, safely and quickly? And that right there is where the cherry picker just shines. Think about a standard forklift. It's awesome for moving heavy pallets from point A to point B on the floor. But a cherry picker, or an order picker, it does something totally different. It lifts the operator up to the product. It's such a simple idea, but it's brilliant. And that's what makes it a total game changer, especially in warehouses with those super tall shelves and really tight aisles. It literally turns the air in your warehouse into valuable, usable storage space. So now that we know what it is, let's dig into what it can actually do. This next part is all about those specific features and numbers that really define a cherry picker's performance and, its ultimate value to your business. Okay, let's break down what really makes these machines tick. The features you see here, they aren't just bells and whistles. They're direct solutions to real warehouse problems. Take narrow aisle capability. What that really means is you can pack your shelving in tighter, which means you get more storage in the exact same footprint. The adjustable platform lets your operator get to the perfect height every single time, which cuts down on strain and speeds up picking. And of course, you've got critical features like safety harnesses and load capacity monitoring, which are all about keeping your people safe so your operation can run without a hitch. Every single feature here is designed for maximum efficiency and safety. And just to give you a sense of the kind of power we're talking about, let's just focus on one number. A typical load capacity is right around 2,500 pounds. To put that in perspective, that's about the weight of a small car. This machine is built to safely lift your operator and a pretty hefty load all at the same time. This table right here, this is where it all comes together. You can see how these numbers directly translate to your warehouse's layout. A max lifting height of 30 feet isn't just a spec. That's the potential height of your entire storage system. But the real magic is in something like the aisle width requirement. Just 5 feet. That's what lets you create those incredibly dense storage areas. So you see, these specs aren't just for the engineers. They're basically the blueprint for how efficient your warehouse can be. Okay, so you're sold on the idea, you get the specs, now you're facing your first really big decision, and it's a huge one. Do you spring for a brand new machine, or do you find a good deal on a pre-owned one? Let's break down the pros of each choice. So here it is, the fundamental trade-off. Over on the left, going new gets you all the latest tech, a full factory warranty, and, the peace of mind that comes with it. On the right, a used model has a much lower price tag up front, and you can often get it on your floor a lot faster. The right choice? It really depends on your business. If you're running a massive 24/7 operation where any downtime costs you a ton of money, well, that warranty and reliability of a new machine is probably worth it. But hey, if you're a smaller operation, or maybe you just need a second machine right now to handle a surprise new contract, a well-maintained used model could be a much smarter financial move. It all comes down to balancing that initial cost against your long-term operational risk. So how do you take all this info and actually apply it to your specific warehouse? This next part is all about building a personalized checklist to find the forklift that's truly the perfect match for you. Think of this as your personal homework. First up, what are you actually lifting? You need to know your heaviest loads and your highest shelves, period. Second, get out a tape measure. I'm serious. Find the absolute narrowest point in your entire warehouse. That number is critical. Third, be honest with yourself about usage. A machine that's going to run around the clock needs to be a lot more durable than one you'll only use for a few hours a day. And finally, look at your environment. A smooth, polished concrete floor is a whole different ballgame than a rougher surface. Okay, so you've picked your machine. Awesome. But the journey does not end there. If you really want to maximize that investment, you have to think long term. And that means making safety and maintenance your absolute top priorities, right from day one. Now, this list here, this isn't a nice to have list. These are your non negotiables. We're talking about things like an overhead guard to protect from falling objects, or a load capacity monitor that prevents dangerous overloading. These aren't just good ideas, they are essential systems that protect your operator, your inventory, and your entire business. And this simple fact right here shows you the true value of upkeep. With a regular, consistent maintenance plan, a cherry picker isn't just another purchase. It becomes a long-term asset that can last you 10, 15 years, maybe even longer. It's so important to think of maintenance not as an expense, but as an investment in the safety, reliability, and long life of your machine. You know, this quote just nails the whole point of what we've been talking about. The right machine does so much more than just move a box off a shelf. It unlocks the full potential of all your vertical space, it speeds up your entire fulfillment process, and it truly elevates the efficiency of your whole operation. So we'll end with this question. After going through all the essentials, from what these things do to how to care for them long term, you should have a much clearer picture of what a cherry picker could do for you. The only question left is, are you ready to take your productivity to a whole new level? Thanks so much for watching.